Shoulder flexion will be done by standing to a wall, facing the wall. Have your arm about shoulder or arm length away. Crawl your fingers up the wall slowly. And make sure to keep your arms straight, so don't bend at the elbow. As when you crawl up the wall, start walking a little bit closer, you can get more flexion. The athlete will then progress to having a weighted ball, and move the ball up the wall just as demonstrated as before, making sure that the arm is straight and in front of the shoulder. And as you are getting higher, walk closer to the wall to get more flexion. Athlete will take a bar or a broom, whichever is available, have one arm supinated and one arm pronated. Have the bar straight out in front of them and cross the body with flexion, as demonstrated. Keeping elbows straight and lifting as flex as high as you can. There we go. Athlete will lay supine, elbows to 90 degrees. Do a bench press, so pull up, keeping most of the weight in the good shoulder, and then going into flexion, still keeping the weight mostly in the good shoulder, helping the bad shoulder increase their flexion. Hold for about 30 seconds. While athlete is doing so, hopefully more flexion will become available. And when done, return back to starting position.
Stand with athlete supine, shoulder and abduction, elbow at 90, again assisting the athlete's elbow at 90. You're going to push the athlete down and resist them into external rotation. Same cues, keeping the shoulder on the table and the elbow.
Perfect. And the one there from Black could you put your disadvantage?
Supine, holding the athlete's wrist and just above the elbow. They will bend their elbow into their shoulder flexion and straighten their elbow and shoulder extension. You will resist them then. Keeping your shoulders straight, straightening elbow into extension. Again with athlete supine, and you are going to resist them in the direction their thumb is going, so into shoulder external and internal rotation while spinning their thumb through the direction. Keeping elbows straight and resisting in this direction.
Okay?
Athlete will stand holding tubing, gripping the handle with the arm out to the side and overhead. The athlete will take the tubing leading with the thumb across the body towards the opposite leg. Making sure to keep the elbows straight. Doing 10 Stand facing the tubing with the involved hand facing downward in a pronated position. The athlete will then move the arm on a diagonal while supinating the hand, ensuring to keep the elbows straight and doing so in a controlled manner. Cue the athlete to keep the elbows straight during the entire motion. The athlete will stand with tubing and involved hand with the thumb facing upward. The athlete will start at 90 degrees elbow flexion and rotate out as far as they can go.
It's so loud. I would never know when it was happening, but I would always wake up in the morning and be like, oh, no.
Ensure athlete does so in a controlled manner throughout the entire motion.
Oh, hey, and I'm back.
Athlete will stand holding the tubing with thumb up with the elbow flexed at 90. The athlete will then bring the arm across the body into internal rotation. Ensure the athlete does so in a controlled manner throughout the motion and does not let the shoulder hang up.
I don't think you understand how
Stand facing the tubing, holding it with the hand in a pronated position. The shoulder should be abducted and the elbow flexed at 90 with the hand just underneath the shoulder. The athlete will raise hand to lift the tubing, ensuring to keep the shoulder from following the motion. If necessary, the athlete can stabilize shoulder with opposite hand while moving through the motion. The athlete should stand facing the tubing with shoulder and elbow flexed at 90. The athlete will rotate arm up for the starting position. The athlete will then turn their arm, pronate their arm down to go through the motion. Ensure the athlete does not let the shoulder hang forward, and if necessary, the athlete should stabilize the shoulder with the opposite hand. Athlete will lie prone on the table with the involved arm hanging off. The thumb should be in an upward position, and the athlete will lift the weight, keeping the elbow straight on a diagonal. Ensure the athlete's head and neck are resting on the table, and the athlete should hold this motion for 3 seconds. Athlete should be seated on a table with hands shoulder width apart, resting on the table with fingers out, palms down. The athlete will then push up onto their hands to lift their buttocks off the table and hold for 2 seconds before slowly lowering. The athlete should lie prone on the table with involved arm hanging off, thumb facing forward. The athlete will do a rowing motion while bending the elbow, getting the weight as high as possible. The athlete will hold at the end of this motion for 2 seconds before slowly lowering. The athlete stands with arms at side, weight in an involved hand. The athlete will have the thumb facing forward, going into shoulder abduction, holding at the top for 2 seconds. Ensure the athlete does not let the hand go past the shoulder in this motion. So don't let your hand go as high. Right there, yeah. Athlete will stand with arms at side, weight in involved hand, thumb facing forward. The athlete will then go into scapation by lifting the shoulder to abduction in a diagonal motion. Shoulder flexion in a diagonal motion. Do not let the athlete's hand go over the shoulder. The athlete will hold this motion for 2 seconds at the top before slowly lowering. Athlete will lie prone on the table with involved arm hanging straight to the floor. The athlete will lift hand up to shoulder height, holding for 2 seconds with the palm facing down. Ensure the hand is directly out from the shoulder when the athlete goes through this motion.
Athlete will do push-ups starting in the down position. Place hands no more than shoulder width apart. Push up as high as possible, rolling shoulders forward after elbows are straight. Start with push-up onto a wall and then progress to a table and then eventually the floor as tolerated. Make sure you keep a flat back, just like that. Go Good. Back up. One more. Good. The next exercise will be elbow flexion, standing with arm against side and palm facing inward. Bend elbow upward, turning palm as you progress. Hold for 2 seconds and lower slowly. The next exercise is elbow extension. Raise involved arm overhead. Provide support at elbow from uninvolved hand. Straighten arm overhead. Hold for 2 seconds and then lower slowly. Next is wrist extension, supporting the forearm and with palm facing downward. Raise weight in hands as far as possible. Hold for 2 seconds and then lower slowly. Wrist flexion will be done, supporting the forearm and with palm facing upward. Lower weight in hand as far as possible. Then curl it up as high as possible. Hold for 2 seconds and then lower slowly. Wrist supination will be done with forearm supported on table with wrist in neutral position, using a weight or hammer to roll wrist to the palm in up position. Hold for 2 seconds and return to starting position. Wrist pronation will be done with forearm should be supported on the table with the wrist in neutral position. Using a weight or hammer, roll wrist to the palm down position and hold for 2 seconds. And then return back to original position.
Athlete will lie prone on the table with the arm at shoulder height. The elbow flexed at 90. Ensure the elbow does not go past the shoulder. The athlete will lift arm to shoulder height and slowly lower back down. Ensure the athlete keeps the elbow flexed the entire time and does not let the elbow go above the shoulder. A progression of this exercise would be slowly adding weight to increase difficulty. Athlete will be side lying on the table with the bottom arm body assisted onto the bottom forearm. The top arm will be rested on the body. The athlete will then push up onto the bottom hand, rolling the shoulder inward and slowly lower back down. This would be a progression from the previous exercise because it is body weight or half of the patient's body weight versus a hand or dumbbell. The athlete will start in a standing position with the arm at 45 degrees flexion, the palms turned down. The athlete will then raise and lower the arms, ensuring not to go past the point of pain. As the athlete lifts the hands up, he or she will hold for 2 seconds before slowly lowering.
Athlete will stand at wall with tubings in hands. Athlete will begin in athletic position, so butt out and down. She'll walk backwards until resistance and do eyes, so pull back, and then forward. Making sure that the scapulas are tucked into your back pockets, turning your traps off. Athlete will face wall with tubing in both hands. The athlete will begin in athletic position, scoot backwards. Do your T's, turning off your traps, and making sure you use your middle traps and your rhomboids. Tucking your scapulas into your back pockets. Athlete will stand at wall with tubing in both hands again, begin into athletic position, walk backwards, go into W form, and pull back. Keeping your scaps put in your back pockets.